The night has come, it's cold and losing my control. Your light is gone, and lonely darkness fill my soul. I wish that you could save me from my isolation. It's way too complicated. Let's stop this conversation. Let's stop this conversation. We got no relation.
Good evening, and if you're just tuning in, you are listening to or watching UFO Paranormal and United Public Radio Network. You can listen to us in the U.S. on 105.3 FM on the Gulf Coast in Mississippi and 107.7 FM out of the beautiful city of New Orleans, to where we are actually broadcasting out of. I'm your host, Lorilei Potvin. A little bit about myself. I'm a Canadian psychic medium, crystal Reiki energy healer, Akashic Records practitioner, spiritual teacher and mentor. I'm also a registered nurse. I'm well versed in near-death experiences, having had one as a toddler myself, and I've studied them professionally and personally for over 40 years. I'm also extremely well versed in the paranormal. I always say I didn't go looking for it, it found me, as I think it does most of us. And we shared some of our story on the Travel Channel's Paranormal Survivor Season 4, Episode 9, called Demonic Hauntings. You will see, if you get a chance to watch it, because it's on YouTube and Netflix, it's all over the place. You're going to see a familiar face on that show that I did not know at the time, but she is a very big part of our network, and I know her well now. It's Michelle DeRoche. And we all got to cheer for Michelle DeRoche. She is the station manager, but better yet, she's the host of two of her own shows, Tuesday afternoons, 2:30, I believe it is. 2 or 2:30. I can't remember. I should check that because I'm going to be on her show actually in November, I believe. She's Beyond the Outer Realm. And then Wednesday and Thursday evenings, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, she has the Outer Realm. And I am going to be on the Outer Realm Wednesday night, actually, with her. So it's going to be a busy week this week. Sorry, squirming, guys. Got to get comfy here. First, I want to thank Carnation. The big brand of Carnation actually sponsors all the shows on the network on Mondays. So we call it Carnation Monday, and they're responsible for bringing all the great shows that are on the network. Right after this, in 2 hours, you guys please stay tuned for Dolly Saffron and Preston Dennett with the Light Gate, and we're always adding new hosts, new shows. I believe we're up to 30 plus live hosts, so we stream multiple shows daily, 7 days a week. When we're not streaming live, the archive server kicks into the past 25 plus years this network has been around and randomly picks shows. So we are live actually all the time, and it's not all just UFO and paranormal, although we do love that. We're heading into spooky month. So check it out and tell all your friends and family about it. Share it with everybody. The more the merrier here. I always tell my guests, I don't have to tell this guest because she's part of our UPRN family here. I'm getting to her in just a minute. But there really is something here. Like I said, the network's been around 25 plus years. Now, if you are across the pond, most of you that are global now, because we do broadcast every country in the world, most of our audience is audio only, though it's about 80 to 85% audio. But if you're listening live and you're thinking, where are all these comments? How can I join in the conversation? I've got something I want to ask, or, meet all the great people that are in the chat here. How you can do that, you have to see us to comment. So I'm going to quickly rattle off the places we're streaming tonight. On my Facebook, it's under Lorilei Potvin. We are on my LinkedIn under the same name. We're on my YouTube, which is The Angel Rock with Lorilei Potvin. We are also on Instagram under The Angel Rock. We are then on the networks, YouTube and Facebook. And I switched a few things up for our guest tonight. So we're streaming to Kat's audience tonight too. But we are on UFO Paranormal and United Public Radio Network on Facebook, and our main YouTube channel is the same name. And then we are streaming to Kat Ward, who is the host of Paranormal. My brain just went completely blank on me, and I've been on your show so many times, Kat. Give me a sec. Paranormal Heart. I knew it would come to me. Sorry, I try to memorize all this stuff as I'm talking. And that's Tuesday nights here, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on UPRN. So we're streaming to her Facebook, and we are also streaming to her YouTube channel under Paranormal Heart as well. I got my little checklist here so I don't forget. If you guys want to watch us on TV, the network does have our own TV channel. It's on Roku. How you're going to find it, you're going to go to the channel store, look for the search button, and you'll type in UFO space P as in paranormal. There's a drop-down list where about the third or fourth one down, and you're looking for UFO, paranormal, and United Public Radio. That's how you can watch us on TV. I'm trying to think, did I forget anything on this list? I don't think I did. So let me get to our very patient guest here waiting tonight. It's the first time she's been on the Angel Rock. And Kat Ward, like I said, is a part of the UPRN family. She's a host of Paranormal Heart Podcast, but I'm going to read her bio as well. So Kat Ward has been a paranormal experiencer and sensitive since a very young age, growing up on the east coast of Canada in the province of New Brunswick. So you got two Canadians tonight. Finding answers to the unexplained has led her to become a paranormal investigator with Canadian Supernatural Research Society, a CSRS, try saying that 5 times fast, based out of the Ottawa Valley, Ontario, Canada, where she now resides, helping people understand their paranormal experiences and comforts them knowing they are not alone in these experiences led Kat to the start of the Paranormal Heart Podcast. Paranormal Heart provides a safe place where people can openly discuss their paranormal encounters without ridicule or judgment. And I believe all the hosts on our network hold that same philosophy. It's a safe space to talk about the weird and the strange. Like I said, her podcast, Paranormal Heart Podcast, is Tuesdays here on UPRN, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Kat is currently working on narrating a book series called the Obsidian Guardian series, written by J.B. Coates. The first book in the series, Integrity, an Obsidian Guardian novel, is now available as an audiobook and can be found on Audible. Kat also has a small voiceover role, and in brackets, it's Lorraine, in the horror/comedy movie Camp Smokey, written and directed by Vinnie Vineyard and Luke Walker. And did I forget anything, Kat? That's a pretty illustrious welcome.
Thank you. I think you got it all.
That's a very good bio that you wrote. There's sometimes when they'll send you a really long bio, right? And then it's like, it's a bit long. And so you pick out different parts, but that was a perfect move. So let's say hi to everybody first. We always do.
Hello, everyone.
I also should tell you guys, too, that I have a second podcast here on the network with my very good friend and co-host, Carrie Lynn Shellhorn, who also hosts Spirit Switchboard, if my mouth would work, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on Fridays. But we co-host Beneath the Hollow Moon. And we are talking about Bradshaw Ranch this Thursday, 7 p.m. Sorry about last week. We took the week off. It was a crazy week for both of us, but we put on a good I know we put on a good show. We actually picked the paranormal activity that was caught on police body camera with the very tragic Watts murders. And it's incredible. If you guys haven't seen it, I encourage you to check it out, because I think it gives a little bit more validity with it being caught on police body cam. So let's say hi. We've got Mort Ellie here. Hi, Mort. And we've got Heidi Hall saying hi to Kat Morley. Much love. And I knew if I put the post out, if we're going to probably get EVPs tonight, I'm counting on it, because when we have technical issues before, never fails. Yep. So we got Astrolight Paranormal, or Victoria says hi, Lorilei and Kat. And Victoria, you were coming on, I think it's in February. I'm so glad you reached out to me, because I kept busy, and I'm so glad you did. So I can't wait to have her on. We got Mish. She says, good day, Lorilei. Good day, Kat. I know Mish is probably in bed, because I always say she's joining us from the future, because it's Tuesday morning over in Australia early. You got the coffee, Mish? I know you and Contessa usually are talking about the coffee in the chat here. Let's see. I got to get past all my comments. Everybody's saying hi. Oh, we got Julia Evans tonight. Says good evening. I know it's late over there right now in the UK, Julia. So thanks for staying up to join us. I know it's probably about 11:30 over there. So thank you. Grateful for all of you joining us here. I'm just scrolling. And I love the chat. They always joke and talk. They all get to know one another. And they're always so kind to everybody new here. Oh, speaking of Carrie Lynn Shalhorn, she's in the chat. Hi, Carrie Lynn.
Hi, Carrie Lynn.
And we got Julie Jean Bassett. Julie, you know what? I should have pulled that up ahead of time. So Julie is an incredible, sorry, I can't walk and talk at the same time. I want to pull this up so I get the dates right. There we go. Anyways, Julie is an incredible animal communicator, earthside, and she's also a pet medium. She's an incredible healer. She's helped me with many of my pets. I know she's worked with Carrie Lynn. There's been quite a few people in the chat that have also worked with Julie and their animals. So say you've got an animal that's doing crazy stuff and you're at your wit's end and you're thinking, oh my gosh, like, what am I going to do? Sometimes you even have to consider, like, you're thinking, or I'm going to have to rehome my fur baby or animal. Julie's your person to help. Now, I've taken her animal communication course. I call myself a budding animal communicator, and Julie always tells me, don't say that, that I am one. But she just ran a beginner animal communication course last weekend, I believe, in September. So she runs them every few months, it seems. And I encourage anybody who's interested in that to check her out at juliejeanbassett.com, because I believe it's our birthright as humans. She's also an incredible shamanic practitioner. I've had a life-changing healing session with her, and I again recommend that as well. So you can get a hold of her for the shamanic stuff on whitetailhealing.com. But she has, and I'm so sad because I'm not going to be able to join. She has a new course coming up. She's going to be going over the 9 major chakras and animal companions, including what organs and glands may be impacted by an imbalance, behavioral issues that may occur due to an imbalance, and some energy healing techniques. Now, I know she has that. I think it's next Thursday. I didn't click the date. I believe it's next Thursday. October 11th seems to ring a bell in my mind. Please correct me if I'm wrong, Julie. But again, reach out to her on juliejeanbassett.com. She's on Facebook under Julie Jean Bassett, because I strongly recommend it. I want to take it. It's a Thursday night and I'm live when when the course is going on. So I always love to give Julie a shout out. So thanks for your patience, Kat. We got Kirby's 100 here. Welcome. We're just going through. Everybody's talking to one another. Yeah, animal chakra class coming on October the 11th. It's in the evening. I think it's 7 to 9, I want to say. Please correct me if I'm wrong, Julie. Please put it in the chat. I'll just check Instagram. Sometimes Instagram, we got all kinds and then none, and then they'll just pop in. I thought it was a Thursday. I checked my calendar. I promise I'm not losing my mind. So I will be there then. I will be taking it. I will be. Right after this, I'm going to sign up. It's very reasonably priced, you guys, and Julie is an incredible teacher. I'm so glad that's why I told you I couldn't take it. I don't know what calendar I was looking at. Me and my ding-dong brain, I got lots going on right now. I'm so glad you said that. Now I'm super happy. So 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern. Okay, so we said hi to everybody. So Kat, where do you want to start? Do you want to tell people a little bit more about your podcast and then kind of how you got into the paranormal?
Yeah. So I think I'll start with when I was in New Brunswick, and because that is really the reason why I got into the paranormal and started the podcast. So if that's okay with you.
We're talking about your stuff tonight. So let's go there. Any way you want.
So Lorilei already mentioned that I'm originally from New Brunswick on the east coast of Canada, and I have no siblings. My mom's a family of 13 kids, so there was always large family gatherings. And we lived in on the top floor of a 3-story apartment building that's no longer there, and it was a very, very creepy building. When it was first built, I don't know when, but it was a long time. They had a coal furnace in the basement to heat the apartment building. So each floor was one apartment building. So we lived on the top. No elevator, just stairs. It was fun bringing groceries up with my parents.
I bet.
Yeah. But we were in that apartment from the age of, I think I was around 5 until 13 years old. And I used to see the Hat Man. That was my very first paranormal encounter. But he was the short one. He was about 4 feet tall.
We'll talk a bit more maybe after about the Hat Man, right? So
yeah,
do you want me to pull up the picture then when we're talking?
Yeah, if you want, yeah. So yeah, it wasn't every night that I would see this entity, but it was often enough that I'm 58 now and I still remember the encounters. I did not see him after we left, after we moved out of the apartment building. But it was often enough, like I said, when we were living there. My dad still says today that I used to have night terrors in that apartment building. And I would scream bloody murder, I don't know how my parents got any rest, but I would scream bloody murder about the man in the closet. And I remember my mom telling me that, trying to tripping over my tongue. She was trying to console me. And I remember looking at her. My parental grandfather was not a very tall man. So in order to make myself feel better, I'm like, well, maybe it's Pepper coming to visit me to make sure that everything's okay. You're a kid, you're trying to come up with any reason not to be afraid. But this entity never really paid attention to me. He would just go around. It's almost like he was on a mission. And, but I'd have the blankets up to my, above my nose, just because
I didn't proof blankets.
I know, right? Yeah. It's the blanket rule. But I didn't want to breathe. I didn't want to move just because I was afraid that he would see me. There was one time my father, because I had a big walk-in closet in my room, and so my father was trying to console me. And at the time, he didn't believe in all this mumbo jumbo. And him and I, one day, were standing in my closet, and he says, "See, kiddo, there's nothing here at night that's not here in the daytime." That kind of backfired on him, because me being me, I said, "You mean he's here in the daytime too?"
Oh, no.
And my father's like, "Oh, great." So I was terrified of my room both night and day for the longest time. It was terrible. So it's not something that I used to tell anybody other than my parents, obviously. So moving forward now, years later, I was listening to a podcast called Paratruth Radio. They're now called Paratruth Reborn. Eric and Justin, they're both cousins. They have a great show. They're on the network too, but I've known them for many, many years. So when I first started listening to them, they actually had a guest that was talking about the Hat Man. And I listened to the episode and I thought, you mean there's others that have seen this thing? But his was the tall one, mine's the short one. So I sent them an email saying, I saw the same thing, but mine was short. And Justin emailed me back, says, you have to watch this video. He sent me the link. It's this guy in Canada. He goes by, he doesn't go by his real name on YouTube, but he created what he saw as a little boy, identical to what I saw. I mean, it had the bolero hat, it looked like a cloak. It was dark as dark. I didn't see any facial features or hands or anything like that, because I know sometimes with the Hat Man, people say they see claws, red eyes, whatever, but I didn't see that. It was just like a person standing there, but it's a shadow, like a 3D shadow. And I've been trying to find this guy ever since, because I want to talk to him about his encounter. And he had posted that video many years ago, and I've been trying to find him, and I still can't find him. But so that's where I started getting interested in the paranormal. And my parents and I would go to various places, and I call them my spidey senses. Sometimes I just knew things. And then we moved to Ontario. Husband is now retired military, so we were posted here in Ontario. And a friend of mine had messaged me and said, there's a lady on Facebook looking to start a paranormal team, and I know that's right up your alley. So I thought, okay, I'm going to message her. It was Katie Turner. I think you know Katie, or know of her.
Katie was on our episode too.
Yeah. You didn't know her at the time. Yeah.
I don't know her actually even now.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, we went for a meet and greet at one of the coffee shops here. And my husband's like, seriously, you're going to be doing that? I'm like, yeah, I want to see what it's all about. Right. So I joined the team, and I realized that a lot of our clients had kind of like a PTSD, because if one person had experiences and their significant other did not, then they start making them feel like, don't talk about it, it's just my imagination, and they slowly just withdraw themselves from everybody because they're thinking, well, this isn't right. And so I thought I was a guest on a friend's podcast many years ago. She doesn't have it anymore. And I had some family and friends say, you should start your own podcast. And I'm like, hell no, every time. Nope. So I mentioned that to my husband. He goes, why wouldn't you? And I'm like, I don't know. That's just something other people do, not me. So I started thinking about it, and I'm like, I might, because it gives other people, like when I was watching Eric and Justin, people will know that they're not alone having these encounters. Because I didn't know about the Hat Man. I didn't know he had a name. I just saw this dark shadow in my room and had no idea that other people witnessed it. So I started my podcast, and here I am. And I've been making amazing friends, amazing guests, other hosts. I mean, it really is a family.
Well, yeah, it does. It does. Sorry, I'm paying attention to you, but I'm trying to find this video because somebody sent me video locally here. I didn't get involved in the case, but it classifies, I would think, kind of under the cat or under the Hat Man thing. So the reason why I know about the Hat Man is because when we lived in our previous home that was very, very haunted, we had 4 main entities. We had the thing that I to this day, I don't know whether it is or it isn't. It said it was a demon. It gave me its name. It spelt it.
It gave you the name.
Yeah, gave me the name. And the thing is, I thought I told you that. Maybe I hadn't. Yeah. So the dream, for people who haven't heard, I'll tell it really, really quickly. But I was still married to my first husband. Nothing was going very well in that home. And, things would go missing. Like you'd be going to go out, your keys always in the same spot at the front door. You bend down to put your shoes on, stand up, keys are gone. And you think, oh my God, am I going crazy? Whatever, right? So what had happened was The Secret. That's how long ago this was. When the book The Secret came out, there was a documentary that came out. And we had heard from people, you should watch it, because I was still really kind of getting it, following my spiritual path, natural healing, and what have you. So we had watched The Secret. And the next day, because my back, I hurt as a nurse, and there were days that I was in bed for almost a decade. And there were days when I had better days than none. So how I kept myself busy was with making handmade jewelry, pet accessories. And I happened to be able to get to go out that day, the next day. So I was telling people at local businesses, you'd have a conversation and I'd mention, I make this or I make that. And every one of these people wanted to carry my merchandise. I remember coming home to my ex-husband. We're still very good friends. He's part of the story. He signed a release for our episode, even though he wasn't included, but I know he'll be okay with me mentioning his name. His name was Earl. His real name, legal name, is James Earl, but he goes by Earl. And I came home, I said, I can't believe this. Like, why would anybody want to carry my stuff? And nobody wants any commission or anything. So he looked at me and he was laughing. He goes, maybe it's The Secret. Well, I went to bed that night and had this dream, like I remember, like it happened 10 minutes ago. To make it even shorter, there was a man sitting up in the tree. I remember right down to every detail, what he was wearing and everything. And he said to me, hello, Lorilei. Well, that little business you have, that's nothing. I can offer you wealth. I can offer you fame. All you have to do is agree to follow me. It's not radio friendly or podcast friendly, what I told him to do in the dream. And then I kept saying, who are you? Who are you? And so he told me he was a demon. And he told me his name, and he told me how to spell it, if you can believe it or not. Because I've had people say, there's no way that can happen. They don't give you the name. But I'm just telling you what I was told. Mm-hmm. Long story short, I called on Archangel Michael, woke up and sweating, shaking, and completely freaked out, crying. That's not me. And all heck broke loose. But I looked for that name. I always say I've been Catholic since I was in the womb, practically. I'm now a retired Catholic, I call myself, but I'd never heard this name. I've been forced to go to church, at least once a week, if not many more times, especially when I was younger. Look, I could not find it. Then about 5 or 6 years later, I was helping somebody else that had said I had this name in a dream. It wasn't a good dream, and they had a lot of crazy stuff going on at their house. So I said, well, I don't know. That's not my field of expertise, but I can take a look. And imagine my shock when I'm looking and they're on the same page. The name I had been given, the exact spelling, and its animal form. Because in the dream, it told me it's animal form as well. So said it was a demon. Sorry, don't mean to get off track here. Then we had a female, if you will, shapeshifter who would take my form in the way of like almost a doppelganger. And she'd always do stuff to Dell, my partner Dell. Then we had what my two boys at the time and my partner Dell could all see it. I couldn't. They named it the Shy Guy. It was this little tiny thing. If you've ever played Mario, I know you probably have, my friend.
Oh, yeah.
Super Mario, and it looks like it's the Grim Reaper, but he's wearing like a Jason-like skull hockey mask. So that's what they call him, the Shy Guy. They could see him. And then we had the Hat Man. Now, I did not see the red eyes. I have seen it. Dell has seen it. My youngest, who's no longer alive anymore, but when he was alive, he wasn't really verbal because he had autism, but he would often say, "Mummy, wet eyes in closet," meaning red eyes in my closet. And my oldest at the time, being a little one as well, was seeing it, could describe it. And I thought, why are we all seeing this? So I started doing research because that's what I was doing constantly. Same thing. Like some people, you said bolero, I think you said.
Yep.
Yours. Okay. It's either like a top hat, cowboy hat, bolero, whatever it is. And it looks like it's wearing a trench coat or a long overcoat, all black in shadow. Some people see it small. Some people see it really, really, really tall, which was ours. Now, the guy in the tree, I have pictures, and I believe how he manifested black mist. You could see the black mist. So we had 4 main characters. But my thing has always been, why does it always appear mainly to children, but thousands and thousands of people have seen this.
Yep.
And we're all seeing the same thing. So what were your thoughts with some of the research that you've done?
I still don't know. I really wish I could go back to that apartment and do an investigation and talk to people, but they tore down the building a long time ago. And I think maybe next time I go home, I'm going to have to check the library, the old microfiche or whatever they have, see if I can find anything about that location and why was it there. But I had 2 dear friends that are trusted psychics, and they don't know each other. And they both told me the same thing. I asked them, I said, what do you 2 think this being is? Safety dog. Oh, so nice to see him, David. Sorry, I haven't talked to him in a long time. So, they both said that it was a guardian to protect me from evils that were in that apartment building. So...
Did you feel like you were protected, or did you get kind of the feeling of terror? And
well, I was always terrified because I didn't know what it was. You know, you see a shadow in your room, darker than dark, because back then we didn't have as many streetlights as they do now in that town. So as soon as I turned the light out, it was just pitch black. I did start sleeping with a nightlight after a while, but it was just darker than dark. And I'm just like, what the heck is this? And I still am out. I don't know what it was.
Well, I'm looking to see if I can find this video. No, I don't know if it was a hat man or not. And I have questions about the video that I got. But there's a black shadowy figure that appears that somebody sent me to. They were under extreme haunting of the shadow man or hat man. Now, I know I told you off air that I have a very good friend. She used to be on this network. She was on my previous network, and now she's on Coast to Coast AM. Her name's Heidi Hollis. And Heidi has experienced the most strangest, unusual, craziest stuff ever since she's been a little kid. Yeah. I know that for a fact because strange stuff has happened when I've been talking to her. Like, it's just crazy, crazy stuff. But she was one of the first people to be talking about the Hat Man Shadow Guy. I know you know this, but for our audience. And she's trademarked that name, actually. But she's also a cartoonist. I say her muggle job or day job. She's an occupational therapist. But she also is a comic strip writer. She's big into Bigfoot and stuff like that too. So I know she writes books as well. There's adult books, but for kids, especially in comic books and stuff, to help kids with their experiences with this.
Oh, that's a great idea.
So I would say, if you ask me, because I've never heard of people having super malicious things happen. It just seems to, if you will, thrive on the energy, like, and to me, it feels like negative energy. Like it
Mhm.
wants it feeds off the energy. It almost feels, I'm hearing this word right now, like a place marker or holder,
Mhm.
if you will, for activity and not good activity to come in. That's why I asked you how you felt.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, it's funny because he's literally haunted my mind ever since. I mean, I've
Mhm.
never forgotten him because I want to know what it was. Why was he there? Where did he come from? But yeah, he never paid attention to me. We just
No.
doing it. Nope. Just walking around like he was on an errand. I don't know what he was doing. So if my two psychic friends are correct, maybe he was doing his rounds to make sure that all the negative entities and energies were, uh, you know, not coming to see me that night. I don't know.
Well, the one thing I will say, and you'll get different, ideas and beliefs about it. And I mean, everybody's entitled to their own thoughts and opinions, but not everything in shadow is negative. I
Yep.
believe that anyways,
Yep.
right?
Me too. Yep.
Because, and I know you probably would too, because it takes a lot of energy for something in the spirit world to manifest. And there's many other reasons, because I have seen hauntings where people are not complaining, I want to use that word, reporting shadow beings around,
Mhm.
but they're not getting scratched or bit or choked or things like we were in our house.
Mhm.
And I don't think everything in shadow is negative either. Yeah,
I believe you. Yep.
Victoria's saying the same
Yep.
thing. So no, it's in the other thing I know you had shared with me last week was, and I've seen it, it's this new phenomena where, and please, this is not medical advice, and I'm going to follow this with a huge warning. I strongly, strongly, strongly do not recommend that anybody do this. As a registered nurse, you can read up on what's happened to people who have done this, but Benadryl, which is an antihistamine, there are reports of people taking massively high doses of Benadryl to then have an experience and the intention of connecting
Yeah.
with the Hat Man, right? Mm-hmm.
No, yeah, that's when you mentioned it, I never heard of that before. I mean, why? What's in Benadryl in particular? I do know because I do have allergies. And when I do take a Benadryl, I'm out for 24 hours. There's just something that makes me just want to sleep. Some people last a few hours and it's good, but I'm sleepy. Like I'm tired. It knocks me out. So that wouldn't be, well, unless I dreamt about the Hat Man. But yeah, do you know what would be in the Benadryl?
Well, the research that I've done on it, it's called part of the Benadryl, because if I take a Benadryl, I'm knocked out for 3 days too.
Yeah.
It's called I believe it's diphenhydramine,
Mhm.
which is kind of like a sedative drug. I know that also, if, depending on whether you take something like Dramamine or Gravol, and the way I explain that to people, diphenhydramine, I don't believe there's a drug that just contains that. But for example, let's use Tylenol, since there's lots in the news right now about
Oh
Tylenol.
yeah. Yeah.
I was very intrigued as well. I haven't had enough time to dig into it. Why just Tylenol? Because the way I explain this to people is every drug, and I know you'll know this as well, but every drug has something called a generic name. So that would be like people going and buying hamburger to make a hamburger, for example, versus going to a big name store like getting a Big Mac or a quarter pounder. That's the trade name. It's still a hamburger. I know it's brand specific. That's kind of what the difference between generic and trade names are. So why Tylenol versus why would you not just say acetaminophen?
Acetaminophen.
Mhm.
I
So
wonder if for who, because I'm not going to mention who I first saw mention this, but you probably know
I do,
who.
yeah.
But maybe he doesn't know. Maybe he just thinks Tylenol. Maybe he doesn't know what the word acetaminophen is.
Well, without mentioning the name, because we're not here to talk, and I know you
Nope.
know that. That's what you said, what you did.
Yeah.
Not to bring up politics, but the thing is, I think you have a responsibility if you're going to say something like that, because I think it's done a lot of damage to that brand, right?
Hmm.
We have advisors. I know they don't control this person who said this, but still, I don't know, because everybody's talking about Tylenol. Yes, Michelle. Hi, Michelle Wilfong. We waved. Hello. She's saying yes, Benadryl is
Michelle.
diphenhydramine, and it's in the Tylenol PM. That's the other thing people don't understand with Tylenol in particular too. God forbid somebody tries to unalive themselves. And you see this, I know I did in the hospital quite a bit. Somebody, usually in the teenager range, very, very distraught and wishing to unalive themselves, takes too many Tylenol. If you don't get to the hospital quick enough, a lot of those, I'm going to say children because they're not legal, still older children, a lot of them end up having to have a liver transplant because the liver does regenerate, but it's so hard on the liver, right? Mm-hmm. So Michelle Wilfong was adding, like I said, Benadryl is diphenhydramine is in Tylenol PM. Yes, because it's a sedative type effect. So I'm just postulating here a guess, but I'm thinking that there's something with diphenhydramine that must put you in a certain type of sleep, like your brain waves in a certain brainwave pattern. That I think you end up in the lower astral realms, if you will, because I believe there's many astral realms, right? Yep. So to me, if it's in the lower astral realm, it would have to be lower vibration. And I don't know. I don't know too many positive things that could be in there. And again, we're just having a conversation here because none of us know the answers, right?
No, we're just throwing out ideas.
Mm.
Yeah. So I wonder if, go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, no, you go ahead.
Canadians, they know after you. No, after you. So I'm just wondering, the no-name Tylenol brand, just acetaminophen, does it have that ingredient in it as well? No,
it's the Tylenol PM. So it's the diphenhydramine.
Yeah.
In the Tylenol PM. That's why, because it helps you sleep, right?
Gotcha. Okay. I should have realized with the Dramine at the end, I should have realized. Yeah.
Well, it's not even that. It's the fact that I don't think a regular dose of Benadryl, but we also have to remember too, there's a lot of YouTube channels. I know there was a very interesting channel on Vice for a long time. This guy, I think, had his doctorate in biochemistry. He's a young guy, and he used to go around the world sampling hallucinogenics and things like that. And they would film the episode. Do you remember that?
I've heard of him, but I just vaguely recall it.
Nicholas, but I don't think it was. He had really tall, lanky guy. He had long hair, and then he cut it. And I wasn't looking for it, but I think when I was, because I wanted to see what these people's experiences were on Benadryl or what had happened to them. We're talking high dose Benadryl, which, I mean, you can seizure on that. There's so many things that people have died from doing this. Like, it's like, why would you want to take something in your body that you know is going to, like, there's such a fine line. And not everybody had an experience with Hatman anyways, with these high doses. So I don't know. And who got the idea to do this? Like, I don't know if it's from one of these YouTube channels, because that's what I was going to say. I came across a couple that are now investigating kind of along the same lines as this TV program. I don't know where it started. Did you run across anything like that, or anybody in the chat? Why? Oh no, your Wi-Fi kicked you off, Michelle. Well, I'm glad you're back. Like, why Benadryl? Like, what made you decide to use Benadryl?
I'm just wondering if perhaps someone had a real bad allergic reaction to something. Could have been seasonal allergies, something they consumed. I don't know. And maybe they just took a large amount because maybe the lower doses didn't work for them. And they decided, well, I'm going to take more than I'm supposed to take. And maybe that's where it originated. But again, pure speculation. We don't know.
I was thinking exactly the same thing when you start to see that. I'm wondering if somebody or maybe went to Emerge and, regular doses weren't working and we're giving them more and more and more. And I'm not blaming on healthcare professionals. I mean, if you're trying to save someone's life, right? But more or less probably, and I'm hearing this from Spirit actually, that it would have been by their own hand, because you're not going to give somebody something that's going to unalive them in a hospital setting if you're there to save people's lives, right?
Yeah.
So maybe somebody shared it, like Creepypasta or 4chan or something on there. Maybe, and then more people thought, hey, if they've had this experience, I want to, right?
Yeah.
Do you want me to pull up your pictures? Because you shared these.
Oh, yeah.
What one do you want me to pull up first? The stop sign or?
Yeah, the stop sign. It's the building that's behind the stop sign. That was the apartment building we lived in.
Okay, give me one.
It's the only photo I've been able to find in the past 10 years
Of your old house?
Of the old, yeah. I've even gone, I'm part of, so it's behind the stop sign, so you can see that tall building in the back there, the 3 stories with the porches in the front. We lived on the top floor, and even today, I still have dreams about going back to this apartment building. I'm either investigating, I'm living there with my parents, I'm living there with my current family, you know, my husband and kids. I just drive by and I can feel the evil energies coming from that building. But in my dream, it's not from the Hat Man, it's just from the building. And a lot of times too, my dreams, I'm walking into my walk-in closet, and it's almost like the TARDIS. It goes on and on and on. It's like a dimensional pocket in there. And then I encounter the Hat Man, and there's other negative beings, and I just book it out there because I'm like, oh no, you're still here type thing. So it's just so strange that I'm still having dreams of this apartment building and that entity.
Well, you got another one you sent me. Hopefully I've got the right one here. I think it's this one right here. So
that's the one.
Like, that's what it looks like.
I added the YouTube
the one
link.
We had it. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no, I just want to say I added the YouTube link on the bottom of the picture just because it's not mine. I took it from the website from this guy, and you know, I don't want to have any copyright issues, so that's why I put it there. But yeah, if anybody watching this knows this person who's posted this, please get them in touch with me. I mean, I really want to talk to this guy. But yeah, that's exactly what it looked like.
It does, but looking at this picture, I'm going to be really honest with you. This to me, and I'm not an expert, and believe me, I'm uber careful to call anything that's maybe not paranormal, because I've been in that situation, people telling me that we were making it all up. We weren't making it up. But this looks like somebody's interpretation of what it should look like versus, like, it's the same size, same type of hat. Go ahead, sorry.
No, it's, he just reenacted what he used to see. And when I saw it for the first time, I had all those childhood feelings of terror for the first few seconds, because it's just like, oh my God, that's exactly it.
See, for us, have you ever seen them? I've seen them before. It looks like somebody painted a silhouette of the Marble Man, and he looks like he's leaning up against something, and it's just a shadow. That's what the guy at our house looked like. And depending on the level of activity we had or fear, a lot of disagreements in the house, like it created whatever it could, right, to get that lower energy. Sometimes it would be about a 6 foot, say 4 tall man. We've seen it as tall as 10 or 11 feet high. And then in the closet, like my son Justin, who's no longer with us, I never asked him about it, but I wish I would have, because his closet wasn't 10 or 11 feet high. But I do know my eldest son, he could not sleep in his bedroom anymore. He used, in our old house, he used to sleep on a mattress beside our bed. And then when my first husband and I got divorced, he took over that bedroom, and we took the bedroom downstairs, Dell and I, and that was from about the age of 4. So there was just no way he could stay in there. So they saw something, and it's usually children. Like, I have another friend who mainly does light worker stuff, but she will help, clear houses and things. And she ran into one of these about 6 months ago, and she goes, "Why do I not know about this? I've never run into something like this."
Really?
Yeah. Well, because she doesn't work in the paranormal field. She works more in the light worker type healing field, right? And interestingly enough, this little child was experiencing it, but the father of the child had also experienced this as a little one too. That's what I found interesting.
That's very interesting. Generational, it sounds.
Yeah. So what had happened was she had contacted me and said, "Have you ever heard of this?" And I go, "Oh yeah, absolutely." She goes, "Why have I not heard of it?" I said, "I don't know." And it was almost the way she described it in a child's bedroom, that in the closet, believe it or not, the closet too.
So is the closet
too. Many people, the little ones, the closet. And it was like the way she described it was like there was a rip in the fabric of the energy. So
Mm-hmm.
she said she energetically sewed it up. And I said, well, that would probably be a temporary fix. But I said to her, I would think that if you can go back is to feel around and find out or search for how's it getting in. It's not just getting in through the closet, it's getting
Mm-hmm.
in somewhere else. Because if you even think about sewing something up that's been ripped, right, it'll find a way, if it's energy, just to manipulate it. It's not going to seal it right up is where I'm going with that. So
Interesting.
So I wanted to ask you, since we're entering into spooky month and we're going to talk about spooky stuff this month, so you guys be prepared. I know all of us get all hyped up for the month of October here on UPRN, since we are the UFO Paranormal, and I know also United Public Radio Network. What's the scariest thing that you can remember maybe that you've run into with investigating, or, you know, just your experiences with the paranormal or unexplained, but high strangeness, whatever it might be?
I probably have to say, so when we moved back, so the family, we lived in the Ottawa Valley. We moved to Alberta for 3 years, and we moved back to the same location.
Okay.
And so the military, they give you like 5 days to go on a house hunting trip. So in 2 days, we looked at like over 20 houses.
Oh, wow.
Because you're just pressed for time, right? So my husband always trusts me. So all the houses that we looked at, he's like, any feelings? I'm like, no, they all feel neutral. The house that we bought actually had a happy feeling to it. So this is the one that we bought. But there was this one, there's only 2 houses on that little street. So you're going down one of the roads and there's a side street and there's only 2 houses. But this house had like almost an acre of property, which is a lot for this area that we're living in. And there's a river right next to it, the Ottawa River.
Ooh,
and
okay.
yeah. So we went with our realtor to look at the house, and as soon as we saw pictures, and we thought, okay, cool. There's the attic was turned into a bedroom. You know, it's just like, oh, this is really cool. So I didn't pick up anything on the pictures, but as soon as I set foot on the property, I woke something up. I've never experienced anything like that before or since. All I could see in my mind's eye with this giant eyeballs opening up as if to say, why are you, like, why? So we go in, and it was another military guy. He was being posted, and the movers were still there. They're packing his stuff up. So, and his house was still for sale. So we start upstairs, and my husband looks at me and says, you're picking up on something, aren't you? And I said, yeah. He goes, it's not good, is it? I'm like, no. So I just give me a second. So I had to pick. What I do is I picture white light from my chest, and I just have a burst of white light that surrounds me, just, you know. So that, to me, some people call it bubbling, like my dear friend JJ Rose 777. She calls it bubbling. But I just have this white bubble light that I have around me just so I could continue looking at the house. I don't want to communicate with this being because I really did not have good feelings. Didn't tell our realtor what I did. So nope. So it was just my husband and I at first up in the attic, and it was a cute little place. But then we decided we're going to check the rest of that. Well, my husband said, "Do you want to check the rest of the house?" I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely." Plus, I want to see if there's any other things that I can pick up on too. But
what was in the basement?
People packing, yeah. So I go to the basement. I didn't sense it. It was just that one thing that I triggered. It's almost like a bell rang, like it sensed me, knew I was there, and it woke it. It was not happy. It was not happy at all. So after a while, like we looked at the house, we finished in the basement, and I said, well, you know what, you guys, I need to go outside. I'll meet you guys outside. The realtor must have sensed it too, because all of a sudden the 3 of us are just like booking it out of there really fast, you know. So he must have sensed something too. And every time we drove by that place, I'd say, F you, whatever you were, F you. I just did not like what it was. I don't know if it went back to sleep. I do know last time I drove by, they had swings in the background and a bunch of kids' toys. So when I first told the team, I said, yeah, we might get a phone call eventually to go investigate that house. But we never did, unless some other team has. But that really creeped me out. When I went back to work to tell people, I had one person say, well, you're a paranormal investigator. Why were you afraid? And I'm like, first of all, investigators do get frightened. We do get frightened often, but we just carry on because we want to know what's going on so badly that kind of trumps our fear. But I said, and plus, I'm not there on an official investigation.
You gotta live
I'm
it.
there.
You gotta live
No,
there.
I'm there I'm looking to buy a house, so I don't have all my shields up and looking for things to protect me, and so I was not prepared. I'm just looking for a house.
Well, the other thing, and I'm glad you brought this up. Hold that thought. We got to do our station ID. Just
Sure,
realized.
yep.
So if you're just tuning in, you're listening to
Oh.
UFO Paranormal and United Public Radio Network. This is the Angel Rock. I'm your host, Lorilei Potvin, and my lovely guest to the right of me, if you're watching, is part of our UPRN family, fellow UPRN host, Kat Ward, a Paranormal Heart Podcast on Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can listen to us on 105.3 on the Gulf Coast and in Mississippi, and 107.7 FM in the beautiful city of New Orleans, Louisiana. What I was going to say about that is, Kat, first of all, you can't really control fear. You can control if you're in a state of fear all the time and work on it and the anxiety, but your home is supposed to be your sanctuary and the place where you relax. So, when you know there's something there already, we're not on 100% no matter what we do, right? Like it's the same thing as a nurse. Leave work at work, home at home. And sometimes you do bring it home with you. But to be living in that kind of energy, and I don't think people understand this when they say, we are a paranormal investigator. Yes, but when you're sleeping, like then you got to have stuff up around you, right? Like all the time, you can never just fully relax. Plus, I don't care what people say. I am telling you from past experience, it's almost like depending, and you have the water outside of it already, which carries a lot of energy. You don't know what kind of fault lines below, right, are below that. That can also contribute, because I know that there were things in our previous home that depending on different parts of the house, we described it from the basement up. It was like this big oval column of energy. And that's where all the activity occurred. Like you would argue more. There would be things happening. One of my sons was extremely depressed. So you can never get a break and never get away from it. So for people to think, well, you're a paranormal investigator, of all people, a paranormal investigator would know when you know something's like that, you don't want to be living there because it's not your peace and sanctuary. You got to be on 100%, right? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Oh, totally. Yeah. I mean, and plus, if we would have bought that old place, there was a lot of repairs that it was an old house. I mean, they had, I don't know, do you know what MacTac is?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's peel and stick. People used to put it in their cupboards and stuff like that. Yeah, and it was just really outdated for the decor and everything. So I told my husband, why buy a house for the same price of a house that's ready to move in, opposed to that house that we would have had to do a lot of renovations. But plus, I told him I'm not living there, and thankfully he believes me. And he's like, okay, if you say there's something bad here, there's something bad. I'm like, thank you. So thankfully I have a supportive partner. But yeah, when you're in your own home, I mean, I've even had a dear friend from Newfoundland tell me that I said, oh, you should put, because the house that we lived in Alberta was haunted. And he said, you should put a MP3 player next to you when you're sleeping. I'm like, no. He says, why not? I'm like, I will not investigate my own house.
Okay, I'm going to read this comment, then I'm going to read Victoria's. Yes. But Michelle Wilfong says, exactly, it's exhausting. Okay, I'm going to admit this. I've never admitted it on air. I ran a screen recorder in the most active part of our house in the basement. I have never watched through the whole thing. Because I can almost see something's gonna pop in there, because I caught stuff on the naked eye. Like there's a story. I got so many stories from that house, but our furnace always went at the coldest point of the year, for those that may not understand the level of cold that we can sometimes run into, it can go as high for people in Celsius, like 43 to 45 degrees Celsius in the summer where I am in Thunder Bay. I know for yourself, even hotter where you are because you're more south. And in the winter, we have gone as low with the wind chill, minus 50, minus 53. That's when it would go. I even had to replace the furnace. It was still happening. So this young guy, I'll call him a young kid. I mean, I just turned 60, so he was probably in his late 20s. And I said, Del, he's coming to fix the furnace. One of us better be in there with him. So I agreed to sit down there with him. And I'm thinking, he's probably thinking, what the hell's with this old cougar I wasn't trying to pick him up, but I'm sitting here chit-chatting away. But I am, because I'm worried something is going to come up on him. Mm-hmm. I was sitting on a chair. I have some pictures on one of my old devices. He's bent over. That you couldn't really see the plumber's crack, but you can see him into the furnace, and I'm watching this thing with my eyes blinking. Am I seeing this? It was dark in the corner. There was this black mist in the corner, and it travels, and I'm trying to take pictures so he doesn't think I'm a creepazoid because he's bent over, right? And you can kind of see his crack. But I caught this thing. It's like black mist all around. There are so many pictures from my previous home. I have something in the background. I was talking to someone. To this day, I have never figured out what the heck this thing was. It like a little guy. He almost looks like from Beauty and the Beast, Lumiere from Beauty and the Candle. Yeah. And I love it. There's this thing with big eyes, and it looks like big round mouth, and it almost looks like it has a fedora wearing a sheet, like really thin sheet. I'm getting goosebumps as I'm describing it. And it moves between the pictures, and I didn't know it was behind me. I was talking to a friend on video, and she was snapping pictures behind me. I still to this day don't know what that is. So to me, I just have never been able to watch that screen recording because I'm really wondering like what got caught on there.
Yep. Yeah, and I believe too that if you're investigating your own home, even if it's just mild activity, it can ramp up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was always told, do not do EVPs. I didn't do investigations, but I do have 2 really powerful EVPs that I always include with people if I'm sharing the files and stuff. There were more because I used to call into my friend Jason Bland show, Paranormal Soup. I always love to give him a shout out. He's on Facebook and YouTube, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time till 2 a.m. He's a great host. He's got great guests. He used to have, you could call in. And both those shows I got the most activity were the Halloween shows, I think from 2017, 2018. And normally you would be on Skype, but the camera wasn't working, so you could just hear what's going on. There's still a voice in that recording that I don't know what the heck or what language it was. It's a completely different voice. I know you've heard it. So
that's interesting.
It's crazy. So I've never watched the footage. So I agree with you, investigating, because then you're engaging with it, right? So now Victoria from Astrolite Paranormal says, our house on the military base terrified me. The worst energy I ever felt. We ended up moving. Yep. What do you think why that is, Kat? Like, because I don't have a lot of experience with military housing or the bases. Like, what do you think could maybe be contributed? Because you two are not the first I've heard that people have lived on base somewhere. What do you think is causing that?
Personally, I think it's because you have so many different families moving in, moving out. And if the military member is doing any tours, a person in the house waiting for them to come back, there's lots of emotion with these families. A lot of times we have investigated some PMQs here. That's the military housing where someone unalived themselves, so you have all that emotion just saturates these buildings. And I firmly believe that's why, because it's staying in the building. And I had a friend a couple of years ago, they moved from an apartment into a PMQ, and she wanted me to go sage they said, yeah, maybe about a week after we move in. I'm like, okay. Oh no, that night or the next day, she texts me, she says, how fast can you get here? And I'm like, why? Because she was hearing things. Her husband and her 2 cats were reacting, which they never did before in the other place. So I said, okay, I'll be there. So I brought some sage with me. I had a little gift for her as well. I had 4 pieces of selenite. So I showed her how to sage. And I said, it might not be anything. It might just be somebody wondering why is there somebody else moving into my house? So I said, until I can get there, just use your voice and say, this is my house now. You're not welcome here. We're not here to harm you. This is our place. So you need to leave us alone, which it did slow down in the activity a little bit, but she could still sense things, and the cats were, like I said, were reacting. So after I showed her how to sage her PMQ, I gave her 4 pieces of selenite, and I said, put them in the 4 corners of your house. Do it after you've cleansed, because I made the mistake of doing this when I first started investigating. We did the selenite first, then cleanse. I told my friend, then cleanse. And then when Katie went in, she got scratched because the selenite's there holding them in. They're trying to sage to get rid of it, and it can't leave. So I quickly learned, yes, paranormal investigators do make mistakes. But yeah, it's
I don't use
so many
sage.
families. No,
I don't use sage. I'm going to say one sec. Hold that thought.
Yeah,
I'm going to say hi to Kevin, Z-Sun Dragon. He said he had to step out for some supplies, and he's back home now. Oh, Instagram.
Hello.
So I'll set that up in a minute.
Oh.
So welcome, Kevin. No, I agree with you. I know Michelle's lived. I should give Michelle. I'm sorry, Michelle. My brain is not working today. Michelle lives in a haunted apartment, and she's my mod over on TikTok. I'm saving TikTok for Thursday. Hopefully it'll work, because they're going to penalize me for a week or 2.
Oh no.
Well, they always do with the program I use, because they want you to use TikTok Live, and I have it, but it doesn't work with StreamYard. So I found a program that does work for TikTok, but then they'll block me for a week. And so I tried to save it for last Thursday, and again, they blocked me for another week. So hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll play nice for Thursday night. Michelle, the reason I mention it, Michelle Wilfong's my mod over there, and she is incredible. She has a channel on TikTok called My Haunted Apartment, and she's caught some incredible things on camera. She says, I'm looking to move. It is everywhere.
It is.
She said the rent's super high. I hear you. I hear it's crazy. So, I don't use sage for. I know most people do. I know it's a First Nations tradition, and like if you ask my eldest son, he would definitely. It would be sage. I use Palo Santo, and it was something Spirit gave me a long time ago. And it's this: it's what we perceive becomes what we believe, and it becomes our reality. So for me, and plus my family hated the smell of sage, because I am actually deathly allergic to sage. Like if I eat it, not smelling it, but eating it. So I use Palo Santo, and my belief is that it removes all negativity, but maintains any positive or good spirits. So,
because I know I've mentioned it before in a chat, and I can't remember who had mentioned it, but I had said when I sage, because I have an antique table, and as soon as I brought it into the house, I saged it, and the comment was, well, it's getting rid of the good vibes too. And I said no, because I was told by a dear family friend who was a Ojibwe and sadly passed away early this year. He had said that first of all, wherever you're living, use the local sage. Don't. It helps that way. It's just stronger and it works better. And you can, when you're saging, you can ask for the good energy to stay and the negative energy to leave. The individual in the chat room didn't agree with that statement, but I've always had good luck with it. So I don't do it all the time, but
yeah. So I like it again. That's why I shared what Spirit shared, right?
Yeah.
Like it's whatever you believe, I think becomes, or whatever we perceive becomes what we believe. And sorry, I'm trying to set Instagram up as we're talking here because it wanted to not play nice. Give me one other thing with typing or I'll screw it up. Okay, good. No. So, and a lot of people do use sage, right?
Yeah.
My family couldn't stand the smell of it. I have not had a violent allergic reaction to saging, and I do have sage, but again, that was my belief because I prefer the smell of it, and I have used it because I have had some activity in my home. I think somebody sent it to me because they were angry about something and they didn't do it willingly, like they didn't do it on purpose, but there was some nasty things here. So I did a cleansing, and then what I did was I have somebody I work with just to kind of check in, because I truly believe, especially when you're dealing with more negative things, well, anything across, if you will, the veil, but more negative, they don't forget who you are. They don't forget at all. So, or they recognize your light or your energy. Like I think, and please correct me if I'm wrong, I think you going into that home that you shared a little earlier about, as we're looking for a new home, whatever was in that house, it recognized your energy, it recognized the light, right? And
yeah. We were not friends. I got the message loud and clear. I'm like, okay, see you later.
and it's good that you can do that. Most people, well, apparently there's some states in the US, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but there's some states in the US that if you're a realtor or a homeowner and you're selling your house, you must notify the people that are buying that the house is haunted.
I do know in Canada, if you ask your realtor, then they're legally obliged to tell you yes or no.
I didn't know about Canada. I knew in some of the states in the US. Wow.
Yeah, I guess in Canada you have, and I asked our realtor in every house, so do you know of anyone who unalived, in this house, or anybody had any weird activity? And he would look at me and I'm like, I'm just curious. And he didn't know. So he would look more into it and just tell me, no, we don't have any. And like I said, they're legally obliged to tell you, but if you don't ask, they don't have to tell you.
Yeah, I've never heard that before, but it would be, see, like when I moved in here, I was a homeowner. We left that house. I lost everything. I'm not sorry that I lost everything. It's done and over with, good riddance. I love where we're living now. Even the whole neighborhood was affected where we lived. Like all of the neighbors, like it was insane. So when we moved in here, like I adore my neighbors, every one of them. They are like family and good family, and the fact that everybody minds their own business. But you know what? Like if one's out talking, everybody comes over. You almost have like a neighborhood block party in a way.
Yep.
Everybody's talking and, but nobody minds each other's business. But you ever need anything, you could knock on anybody's door. When my son was alive, they all loved him, and I didn't leave him alone very often. But if I had to run out for 30 minutes, he would be fine. But he hated rain and thunder, for example. Every one of them knew that and said if he got scared and you say you had to run just down the street to grab something, you bring him over. Just bring him right on over.
Oh, that's nice.
Just beautiful, wonderful people. But when I moved in, I remember this neighbor beside us is not here anymore. They've moved somewhere else. But when I moved in, I picked up that somebody had unalived themselves across the street. I could pick it up. I could pick up a couple, not so great things going on. It's a duplex across the street. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Hi, Andrea from Unearthing Shadows Paranormal. Just had to say that. She's from BC.
I was okay. Hang on. We're going to get there. We're just going to grab Kevin's, and I'm glad you said hi, Kat. Now my dog comes out. So Kevin, as I was calling by his muggle name, or Sun Dragon, says, Sage will clear all, then you would use sweet grass to invite back in. But personally, I don't use it because I've got no time to boot out my covered stories, guides, spirits, etc. Apologizing, please come back, he says. Okay, Kev. But that's what I'm saying, right? That's when I think it really means, like, I'm so glad that spirit shared that years ago. What you perceive becomes what you believe, and it becomes your reality. It's the same thing when working with clients or teaching. Take what resonates, leave the rest. And then I usually add as a proviso, tuck it up. I call it my proverbial back shelf. If I still haven't made up my mind, there may be something to it, but I'm not sure. I kind of tuck it back up there because I know if it's significant, it'll come forward again. For example, even and I don't know if this will help people. I have been wanting to take some more remote viewing courses. I have participated in remote viewing groups and things like this. And I just put that intention out there. Lo and behold, I just about fell off my chair the other night when what comes up, a full 3-day course on remote viewing right on YouTube. So, right, we just put the intention out there. I think it'll happen.
Definitely, yeah.
Okay,
yeah, I firmly believe that items, like you could, if you're trying to get rid of something in your house, if you could use a spoon if you want. I personally feel that using physical objects helps you focus. So if you believe that spoon's going to help you get rid of whatever it is in your house, if you firmly believe in it, you're focusing on that a lot more, and it's going to work.
Mm-hmm. Well, I remember years ago when I kept hearing about the spoon bending, like I'm expecting like this major like focusing and the spoon's going to bend. Then I realized, no, you just focus and then you're able to take your fingers and bend it. And I went, oh, okay.
Yeah, I've never tried it.
Powerful. Oh, I've tried it too. We have powerful minds, right? And as human beings. Hang on, I'm going through here. We got Janie Mashburn. That's what happened at my house, Janie. She says, Zisa and I have saged my house, but my spouse hates the smell. My whole family complain bitterly about the smell. They can handle the Palo Santo, so I use that.
I can't handle the Palo Santo. I bought a whole bunch of sticks before because I absolutely love the smell when it's not being burnt. And my husband loves to burn it. It just makes myself and my daughter feel ill. We're just like, oh my God. So my husband asked me one time, well, what's it supposed to be doing? I'm like, supposed to get rid of negative energy and entities. Apparently, maybe your daughter and I are negative. I don't know. I love the smell when it's not being burnt, but.
Mish says, I really want to win. I want to win really big in the lotto. So do I. Well, I have a girl, I call her my adopted daughter. She lives over in Sardinia, Italy. She sent me the most incredible channel. I'm going to see if I can find the name. Sure. And this lady is talking about a woman, I guess, has won 3 or 4 times in the lottery. And she shared on her channel that she put out the intention that she wanted to manifest this exact version of a brand new MacBook, but she wanted to get it for free. And she showed her experience and what she did with it. It was really incredible. Let me see if I can find the name for you guys. It's kind of a cool channel. Hang on. I got to look up her name. I got to go back. She sent me quite a few things here. So give me a minute as I'm talking here, because I'm going to share that with you guys. Check it out. See what you think. It's not that long of a name. We messaged lots, so please forgive me as I'm scrolling. Illuminating Joy. That's the name of it. Okay. So check it out and see, right? Because we are powerful with our minds. And then, have you done remote viewing before?
Not on purpose.
Most of us, right? Most of us not on purpose.
It's not like somebody asks me to remote view. I'm just thinking of a specific person, and all of a sudden I'm picturing either a specific color, and I'll even Google. I think I did it with you once. Let's say I'm thinking of the color pink. I'll go to find out what the shade of pink I'm thinking of with that individual, and I'll send it to them saying, hey, thinking of you, thinking of this color pink. Does it mean anything to you? And they're like, yeah. Mm-hmm. Or I know where, like, I'll just tell them, I don't know, don't turn left, go right. And they're like, what? I'm like, wherever you're going to go today. I just, it doesn't happen often. I don't try to hone in on it. It just happens.
Well, the reason why remote viewing is so cool for people, because I know there'll be people that go, what's remote viewing? They may not be in the chat, but listening. I believe that there's a universal consciousness, as I think most of us do, right? We're all connected. We're all part of one, but there is no time or timelines or anything like that on the other side. So with remote viewing, and I'm oversimplifying it, it's training yourself, and everybody is able to do it. I believe this. Same thing as I think everybody should be able to communicate with animals. Sometimes we need to take courses. Sometimes we hang on to it right from being little kids. just as I think all little kids and animals can see spirit too. So it's kind of going into that universal consciousness, if you will, and you can either go forward or backwards in time. And if you get really good at it, having an out of body experience, you wouldn't believe the things you can see, you can experience. Now, for me, I just took the first hour and a half of this course last night. So I'll have to get back to you guys about what the other 2 parts are at. And they don't waste a lot of time, which I love. They explain things, explain the terms, and then they got you getting right into the course. It's really, really cool.
Yeah.
And I would think the future would be a little bit more difficult, though, because future is not always decided, right? There's many different avenues, like you said, turn left instead of right, turn right. Yep. So I think be a little bit more difficult. What do you think?
I think so, yeah. Just like you said, there's different paths that you can take that's going to determine the outcome of your future. So just because I had a psychic one time tell me that just because a psychic might be incorrect in something doesn't mean that they're frauds. It just means they're looking at a different road, a different path.
Yes. And, I'm going to find the name of that. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I thought that was kind of neat.
It's true.
I actually, before I joined the network, Michelle and I were chatting because I've known her for a few years, and we were chatting and via email, I think it was, or messenger, I can't remember. Anyways, and I described her house, like the manor that she used to live in. I was telling her where the kitchen was and everything, and I said, yeah, your manor's not just haunted, it's alive, isn't it? She goes, yeah. I said, yeah, I'm picking up on it. And I was telling her, and she goes, okay, well, and I said, yeah, the kitchen's here, there's staircase here. And she goes, yep, you described it. And I'm like, oh, this is really cool.
Well, if you guys want to check this course out, I don't know. I was not looking for it. It just popped up. The channel is called Remote Viewing Practice. So
on YouTube?
I'm going to do part 2 tonight and part 3 tomorrow. They got a bunch of practice stuff on there because usually remote viewing courses can be really expensive. And you're going to hear of all different kinds and types. And I just think it's really, really cool to be able to do it at will, because I think most of us can do it. Not willingly. Some of us, like our beloved Carrie Lynn, I know is really good at it. Michelle DeRocher, I believe, is very good at it. There's quite a few people. So if you ever wanted to train or figure out how to do it or what more about it, there's a lot of free stuff out there. You just got to dig. Google is your friend with that, definitely. Kevin says, everybody's talking, sorry, about the smell of sage and Palo Santo. So Mish is asking a question. She says, anyone used the prairie sage? It's from the US or America. The Indians would walk horses through the growing plants to calm them down. I don't think I've heard that before. Have you heard of it before?
No.
Mish, if you got a pic, can you send me it, please? I'd love to see it.
I do know there are different types of sage, but I don't know what any of them are called, except for, I think, here in Ontario, it's silver sage, I think.
I don't know.
I can't remember. Or was that Alberta? I can't remember.
I know metaphysical stores, they have all kinds. I know they got dragon's blood sage. You got all different kinds of things. So Kevin sharing, I first figured out I could remote view when talking on the phone and being able to see objects in the room of the person I was talking to. Giving details, etc. And he's going, yes, Kat.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's pretty cool when it happens.
They were selling it, I think, in this course at the beginning, because I've taken Lori Williams on Facebook. I think they're called intuitive specialists. If you look up free masterclass for remote viewing, she gives a 4-day masterclass on remote viewing as well. And talks about the treasure hunting and all the things that you're looking for. So it's pretty cool. Well, this always goes by so quick. We're not going anywhere yet, guys, but I wanted to ask you about some other areas like Bigfoot. I know, aren't you going to your first conference, or did you
I already went. That was in August. It was in Gatineau, in Quebec, just across the water from Ottawa. I had the organizer on my show a few days before the event, and met a bunch of great people. And I'm going to be attending again next year, which is August 15th and 16th. I'm going to have a vendor's table. It'll be my first time.
That's what I was asking you about. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I
So
remember.
I'm going to have my first event doing that. And Sabine Blais is the one that is organizing it. And she said she's going to give me about 20 minutes floor time to just introduce myself and my show, because I don't really have any Bigfoot encounters, but she just wants to help support me. And I'm just like, wow, that's amazing. So I have a great opportunity and I can't wait. I already booked the time off from work for next year.
So have you had any personal Bigfoot encounters? Is it one of the areas you're kind of interested in too?
Oh, very interested. I think we did once. So are you familiar with
did
Buck
I lose
Hill?
you there? Hang on.
Oh.
Sorry, I'm back. Mish sent me.
okay.
I thought, Mish, I tried to open it. It blocked me out. And yes, it's on my birthday, Mish, because Mish is my birthday twin. I call her because her
cool.
birthday's August 14th, but she's in Australia. So we kind of overlap. So I call her my birthday twin. She also does resin and makes organite like me. And yes.
Nice.
Anyway, sorry, you asked.
Yeah.
Am I familiar with?
With Buck Hill. It's about an hour away from here, from where I am.
I don't think so. No.
Okay, so there's this road called it's called Buck Hill. So it's not too far from Wilno, where the legend of the Wilno vampires are. But anyways, when you go up this hill, you have a few houses at the bottom. But the more you go up, it's a twisty road, and there's trees on either side. There's no street lights. It's dark. You can't see your hand in front of your face if there's no light source.
Like it's really when you're out at camp.
Yeah, right. Camp. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we had some guests from Toronto that were from.
You still there, or did I freeze? One of us froze. Hopefully it's not me. Hopefully not. You guys, can you see me, or did Cat freeze, or who froze here? I'm not sure. Let me check on YouTube here. One of us froze. Give me 1 sec, guys. Hopefully it's not me. We will see. Let me know if I'm frozen, guys. I'm going to my channel here to see. View channel. Hang on. We'll turn off the volume. Live. Why are we not live on YouTube? What is going on here, guys? Is it me? She froze. I'm okay. Okay, good. I was thinking, I'm going, oh my gosh, because it doesn't even look like we're live on my YouTube even. That is weird, you guys. Okay, so we're still here. So is Kat. Hi, Lisa Martinello. We'll say hi to everybody popping in. She'll come back in. There's been some problems with the signal. That's why. So, Mish, I got your stuff and I tried to open it. And I thought maybe it was me. I have my Wi-Fi extender on. Yeah, it's still working. I'm not sure what's going on there. So let's see. So Sherry Madigan, I saw you. It's okay if you're late. There's always a replay. So welcome. And then we've got Lisa Martinello. Good evening, everyone, she says. Let's see. It's not me. Okay. So I am live on YouTube. Okay. You said you were here and I keep forgetting to hit the send button. LOL, Lisa Martinello. That's good. Yeah, I know you did. Because when I went to go get it, maybe her power went out, you guys. That might have happened. God forbid. I hope not. Oh, no, she's back. Here she is. Good. Hello. Oh, no, it's not letting her come in. There, I hit it and then you hit it and I kicked you out. Sorry.
That's okay. That was weird because I checked my network connection and it said strong. So that's weird.
You know, I told you, Kat, it goes like that. I will not be surprised. I said this earlier. If there's some EVPs, people will pick up after, because we did have, it was me, a few tech things before. And I said, once it starts.
Yep. Well, Ed Odell.
Yeah, I know how he is. I call him Howie.
Well, he, the first time I had him on my show, we had to try 3 separate dates because it wasn't like, the internet was just really weird and both our networks were saying it strong. So
I looked on YouTube and it says I'm not live on YouTube while you were gone. I was saying hi to a few people that popped in, and apparently we're live on YouTube. It shows that we're live on YouTube as we're producing.
Weird.
So I am not. like I said, it is what it is. Like I actually have a file, and it is usually with Carrie Lynn, her and I together.
Yeah.
That we get EVP. Like if one of us says to the other one, I think we're getting EVPs tonight, invariably, always, always, always. It's been her that has said that a few times, or
Yep.
I've said it a few times, and we get them. So
That's
I'm
funny.
not sure. So you were talking about the hill. What was the name again?
Buck Hill.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe the entity doesn't want me talking about it.
We'll find out if it happens again.
Yeah. So the gist of the story is back, I think it was the 1800s. I can't remember if it's 16 or 1800s, but I think it's 1800s. So there was this man and his wife, daughter, and little dog that lived in a cabin up on Buck Hill. He was working in forestry, and there was a bad snowstorm. When he was outside looking at something, the door flies open, the dog runs out, the little girl goes to chase it. And that husband comes back in. The wife is just like, oh my God. So he went out to look for them. And he spent the rest of his life looking for her and never found her. And they say that the legend is if you're on Buck Hill and you take your vehicle and you park your vehicle facing down and you flash the lights 3 times and you say, Daddy, 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 you're supposed to see a green light from like the lantern light. I saw it once, which was pretty cool. But anyways, so we decided to bring this radio network or radio station with us on Buck Hill. And so we decided to go up 1800s. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, so we went up the hill a little bit everybody had their own pieces of equipment. And I have to say in the beginning, we kept getting little stones being thrown at us. Like it even cracked the windshield of Katie's vehicle. We didn't think anything of it because we're there to look for spirits. We're there on a paranormal investigation. So we go up the hill and we're all scattered, but we're pretty close. And we hear this loud sound from the forest. Now, this was probably, I want to say it was September, but I'm not sure. But I do know that forest, if somebody's walking in the woods, you're going to hear them because we've gone in trying to find things, and you can't be quiet. You're walking on branches, leaves, like whatever. So it was so funny because everyone instinctively screamed, and then we went back to back in a circle, like looking around going like, I don't know why we did. It was just an instinct to back up together. And I jokingly said, maybe it was Bigfoot. Let's go look. Ha, 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 ha. Later on, we're thinking, oh my, the pebbles, that loud sound, it might have been a Bigfoot. I don't know for sure, but it sounded like it.
The pebbles sound like it for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And some of them are like tiny things, like they weren't big boulders, but some of them were a fair size, you know.
Well, my partner, Del, they used to live out in the country. And they were moving. He had just come back from living in Toronto. He was living with his mom, and they had sold the house. So they were living out at camp because it's like a big house on the lake out there. It's beautiful. It's got electricity, running water. It doesn't have it's got an outhouse, one of the cleanest outhouses I've ever seen because I don't like outhouses. But anyways, he was out there one night, and the camp. Him and his dad built it, and the other brothers helped too, and some friends. But it's built kind of on a hill, so it's on these very thick platforms, if you will, to keep the house straight on the hill, if you will. Mm-hmm. And he said one night he was up in the living room on the couch. His mom wasn't there. I don't remember why his mom wasn't there. And he'd fallen asleep on the couch, and he said out of nowhere, he heard this massive smash, and the whole camp was just like, it's like a 2-story house. It's huge. Wow. Shaking. He said there was a giant boulder that came and it's not like it's a steep incline. It's just a bit of an incline that came flying down the hill and must have hit like the platforms that the camp stands on. Mm-hmm. And never figured out what it was or how or what or why. But I am telling you, I know there's a lot of activity out there. Like we are on the side that's not very populated. And once you drive, there's a public beach and you drive down the road a bit, it's like going into a different energy field. Like, I swear to God to you, you can feel it. It's so incredible, especially early in the morning. But I have some pictures somebody had sent me from the city, because there's an east and a west side. It's called Oliver Lake, and they do all the scuba diving practice out there. That's how deep this is. It can be over 200 feet in some places.
Oh, wow.
So I should probably pull it up. I think I've shown it once on here, but somebody had sent it to me in one of the Thunder Bay groups here, that this woman was on the lake. It was wintertime, and I don't know if it was near, I'm going to say close to freezing, and they thought it was frozen. And she ended up walking along. It was on the east side, and her leg went through into the lake. So she pulls back, and she was taking a picture of the hole. And you can see a woman's face so clearly in this hole. It looks like it could be First Nations, and it's not pareidolia. Like if I hadn't even said a word to you and pulled the pictures up, I'd say, "What do you see?" You'd tell me right away. Lots of weird stuff. So I don't know, Bigfoot. I don't know what it is, but Thunder Bay is a hotbed for high strangeness. Anything you can think of, crazy, weird, strange, paranormal, we got it here, or reports of it.
Buck Hill is not too far from Algonquin National Park, and there have been Bigfoot sightings there.
Oh, wait. Kevin's asking, hang on, he says, were you in an opening in the forest when you backed into the circle? So he's talking about at Buck Hill when you guys were there.
No, we're in the middle of the road. So we had the forest on either side of us. And then we just kind of like grouped together, back to back. And I still find it, I think about it now, and it's just funny how we just instinctively did that.
Well, let me see if I can find those pictures and I can send them. I'll pull them up quickly and you see what you think as we're talking here, because I've got all kinds of strange stuff on camera. I don't know how many times Julie Jean Bassett had sent me a picture on the November full moon, and she asked me, what do you think this is? And I looked at it. As soon as I showed my partner, Dolly goes, lens flare. I go, no, lens flares aren't green. And sure enough, so I go outside. I say, Julie, hang on. Why don't you record? And I'll record and we'll see what we see. As soon as I pulled my phone up, yep, it was a lens flare. But as I'm voice messaging her, I think I had my other phone with me. I'm going, wait, I'm looking at the moon. Holy crap, I got to call you back. There's this red, zippy, kind of weird light. Like if it was a clock, it would be at 10 o'clock. And I sent it to Julie to see. At first, she couldn't see it. And then I circled it. No idea what it was. It was on the video. It was weird. Here, I'll send it from this phone. I always keep a couple phones here just in case. Just in case, because we're live, right? So if something happens, then I can be back on here, plus helping with producing it with some people. Here it is, the picture. I'll send this one and I'll send the other one. I'll pull it up for you. You'll see what I'm talking about. There's a story with it, so I'll just send the bigger of the two, because she wrote a story with it. But you will see what I am talking about. It is creepy. So Mish, I'm sorry I got your picture. Well, the first one was an article, and then the second one, but don't worry, we'll get a chance. I'll hang on to that. You remind me and we'll pull it up when we get a chance. Okay, share screen. Okay, anytime now. I know we only got a few minutes left. We didn't even get to the UFOs yet to talk about that. Okay, so that's the hole her foot made. Can you guys see? It's kind of hard. Can you see into the hole?
Wow.
And she didn't see the face at first. She took a picture of the hole, as I understand it. So the girl this happened to didn't send it to me. Somebody saw it in a Thunder Bay group and said, Laura, get a load of this. Like, what do you think? Same as Julie's going, yes, that was wild about the red light around the full moon. Yeah, so you can see it unearthing shadows, paranormal. Yeah, that is a clear face. Like, I know a lot of things can be pareidolia or pareidolia, depending on who says it. But I am telling you, that is so clear, that face. And that was not a body, by the way. That was, I believe, a spirit caught on camera. Yeah. So crazy.
A lot of times when I'm looking at pictures, they say, "Oh, do you see the face?" I'm like, "No, I see squat." But definitely, thanks for sharing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, the same thing here in Thunder Bay. So if people may not know where it is, I say it's almost close to middle of Canada, not quite, on Lake Superior. We have a lot of First Nations history, as most of us do in Canada, but we have the sleeping giant. It looks like a real sleeping giant. And on the south side of the city, rurally, we have, it's called Little Niagara Falls, but it's called Kakabeka Falls. And the two legends are intertwined. We are on, I believe it's a really large shale plate for the city. So you can never find true north on the compass. Plus the other thing is, we are known for melody stones or Super 7 crystals here, as well as Oralite 23, amethyst mines. There's lots and lots and lots of crystals. So I don't know what it is, but we got lots of crazy, crazy activity around here. Oh, Mish says, say that fast. No, it's Kakabeka, Kakebeka. Oh, Mish, of course you'd have a Super 7. So we only got a few minutes left. Is there anything else you want to talk about that we can throw in? Like any weird, strange, creepy, anything?
I just want to mention one other thing about Buck Hill. The same night, so I had the EMF detector, and mine beeps as well. It doesn't play songs, it beeps as well as it lights up. It was playing Amazing Grace. Now, this one, like I said, does not play songs. It just beeps the same tone. So we're all standing there and we're like, is everybody else picking up what song that is? And everybody's like, yeah, Amazing Grace. Well, one of the guests that was with us, he had a tattoo on his forearm. It was musical notes for Amazing Grace because his little sister Grace had sadly passed away. I don't know how long ago. So we're just like, okay, this is really strange. And the same night that the pebbles and the loud noise in the forest. But yeah, it was so weird. I'm just standing there going, okay, it doesn't sing. It just plays one note and that's it. And yeah, even Katie's so like, yeah,
weird.
I know. So at first we're like, what does it mean? And then Katie looks at him and she goes, what? I can tell that means something to you. And then, yeah, he showed us our tattoo and showed us the story about his little sister. And I'm getting goosebumps. It's like, ooh.
I think maybe she was there to kind of add that beautiful energy to keep you guys safe, just in case something's around.
Yeah, I definitely think so. That either she's following him or she just showed up. I don't know, but that was amazing.
Well, I'm just floored because I've never heard of that with EMF before, but that is just mind. I mean, I believe you, but wow. Oh,
if
this
I can
is interesting. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Kat.
I forgot what I was going to say.
I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, if I can. No, it's okay. No, I do that often. Yeah, if I can find the audio, it's on one of my old MP3 players. I'll send you a clip.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Because Unearthing Shadows, we've only got about another minute or two, hun. So Unearthing Shadows Paranormal, are there paranormal stories directly linked to any of the crystal mines? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Depending on what ones. Here locally, I haven't looked specifically, but I will bet you money there probably is. I have heard stories of other crystal mines. I know Carrie Lynn and I did a show on Beneath the Hollow Moon, not on specifically crystal mines, but we did on mines and weird, strange creatures like Tommy knockers and a whole bunch of stuff that you find in the mines, right? So there's definitely stories. I bet I can't think of one offhand, but it's a great question that you asked. So thank you for asking that.
Thanks, Andrea.
I'll have to do a story about that. So, Kat, you want to remind people, where can they find you? How can they get a hold of you? Anything you want to talk about? That's so cool. We didn't get to talk about your voice work and everything.
That's okay. So the show is called Paranormal Heart Podcast. I have new episodes that are released every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Eastern. And it's on UPRN Network. It's on YouTube, Spotify, wherever you find your favorite podcasts. And if you want to say hello, you want to be on the show, you have guest or topic suggestions, drop me an email. It's paranormalheart13@gmail.com.
I think we got it going across the bottom too, I think, don't we? I
believe so, yes.
I remembered when you told me.
Yeah.
But it's short. So and I want to everybody for being here tonight. And if you can, we would love to have you still stay with us. We've got Preston Dennett and Dolly Saffron coming up next with the Light Gate. And then don't forget to tune in. And I did tell my brain, see, I forget too. I looked this up earlier today about who's coming on next week. So on Thursday, please join Carrie Lynn and I, 7:10 p.m. Well, it's 7, but by the time we get live, it's 10 after. But we are going to be talking about Bradshaw Ranch, and we got some spooky facts, and who knows what we'll be dressing up like. We have Halloween every week with that show, which is so much fun. How could I forget who's coming on next week? On the Angel Rock next week is a very, very good friend of mine. He is absolutely fascinating. I always say he's the type of guest I could do a show with him every week and it would never be the same show. He used to be on my previous network. He used to be on a lot in the first year I was here, but I haven't had him on in a while. Age Nost. He's originally from Norway. He lives in the States now, in Arizona. Arizona, I think it is. I'll have to check that. But anyways, he's coming on. He has Broadcast Team Alpha with his lovely co-host, who's also a friend, Nori Love. That man, the experiences he's had, he runs the mastermind where he gets people from all over the world together, harnessing the power of the mind. I believe Augie can read 100,000 words, I want to say, per minute. Like, the guy is brilliant, and the facts and ideas and things he talks about, you guys, you don't want to miss it. Next week, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you ever want to get a hold of me to book a reading, I do psychic readings, mediumship. I also do crystal Reiki and energy healing. I do teaching and mentoring. The course is coming. My good friend Leanne and we are working on it every Wednesday. We will let you know more details as we have it coming up, and hopefully I will have a domain name at that time. But right now, you want to get a hold of me, just reach out to me, including wanting to book a session on, you can do facebook.com/The Angel Rock, Facebook Messenger, any social media platform under Lorilei, Potvin, or The Angel Rock. I also have 2 groups on Facebook, Paranormal University for all things paranormal, Angel Rocker Tribe for more things spiritual. We love you all. Thank you, Kat, again for being here.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for having me. And thank you for everyone in the chat and whoever's listening. Thank you.
Yes, and you guys tune in also to Kat's podcast on Tuesday evenings, okay? I will be on Michelle's podcast, The Outer Realm, Michelle DeRoche, this Wednesday, 9 p.m. Love y'all, and we will see you on Thursday and then next week. Thanks, everyone.